Hey guys, Adrenaline Junkie here. As always, I've got a ton of projects in the shop here. There's always a lot going on in the Team HAP compound. What do we got here though? Here's the next project. So, this is a 2002 Kbf 650, a Kawasaki Kbf 650, aka a Kawasaki Prairie, later renamed the Kawasaki Brute Force. So it's an 02 V-twin 650. In 2002, this was actually the biggest ATV available on the market. And Kawasaki was the first company, I believe, to bring a V-twin into an ATV. So back then, this was the big boy. This was the biggest machine out there. It was a workhorse and it had a lot of sport. It was one of the first ATVs, first utility machines to utilize this type of a tube frame design, which was something you'd see more on a race sport bred machine, and Kawasaki incorporated it into their utility series. So you're basically getting, you've got a hybrid model here, which back in the day would have offered you a lot of the utility that you were after, as well as the sport you wanted. So it was a real good crossover machine. This was a really fun machine. Yeah, it had some flaws in comparison to the new machines, but it was always a really fun platform with good power, good sound, and it was a lot of fun to drive, especially with the rear axle setup I've got here. This is a solid rear axle, referred to as this SRA rear end. Later on, the Brute Forces went to independent rear suspension, but they were always available with the solid rear axle. This model was sold for a heck of a long time, even after the newer models came out. So this was this was really my first real ATV. At the time I was into Jeeps. I had a lifted Cherokee with 33s on it and a 10-inch lift, and I was wheeling that, but a few of my buddies had gotten ATVs and I drove a few of them, and it's just like, I fell in love, I needed one. So I got this, and this is kind of what led to the demise of me getting rid of all my Jeeps and then eventually transitioning into a Polaris RZR in 2011. So I'm gonna be brief about this. For this video series, it's gonna be like a little build video. I'm calling this project Kawasaurus, and it's not gonna be like super step-by-step in-depth. It's gonna be just kind of focusing on the main points and just guiding you along the build process of a project I've been putting off for a long time, but I've wanted to put together. So what do we have here? 2002 Kbf 650, aka Prairie 650. V-Force John clutches on it, lightened clutches, upgraded springs, all new components inside, bearings, all that stuff. The secondary clutch has been upgraded to 2008 Brute Force clutch because the secondaries in this era had a lot of issues, so this is a good upgrade for it. Cool thing about these machines, super cheap, tons of parts available on eBay for cheap. I bought a bunch of pieces off a wrecked machine for this, so I got a lot of spare parts. I got a Dynatech CDI aftermarket ECU for it that I'll show you once I dig all the parts out of the box. I've got everything I need for this. I've had the parts for ages. The only part I'm missing is the exhaust. Everything else I pretty much have stored away, so I just got to pull it off the shelves up there, and it's going to be ready to go. So what do we have on it so far? We got the high lifter lift springs, 1-inch lift spring, slightly firmer spring, as well as a 1-inch spacer lift up there. So we got about 2 inches of total lift in the front and rear. I got the same setup with a spacer and a lift spring for the rear setup. We got upgraded front A-arms off a newer model Brute Force with the gussets that are a little stronger than the 02 arms. All new bearings, all new bushings, all that good stuff. Next step that I need to kind of work on is, you can see the front diff is out and the carburetors are off right here. No carbs. So it's a twin carb setup. It runs a constant velocity diaphragm vacuum carb. A lot of people hate these. They're a pain in the butt sometimes, but when they work all right. So here's the carbs stripped down apart. I'm just making sure everything's okay inside. I'm gonna clean those up, replace what I need to, hopefully order some new jets and get those guys dialed in. Here we got the front diff all taken apart. Everything inside that front diff actually pretty good. I thought it'd be in worse shape, so I'm only replacing a few bearings and some seals. All the good stuff's gonna stay. Personally, I think if it's OEM and it's good, you should leave it there. I got a new diff seal. Man, that seal's like $70. Like, damn. Anyways, there's that. And like I said, I got a bunch of other parts. I'd love to do some, I'd love to upgrade like the handlebars, do some other mods like that. I had snorkels on it before I tore it apart, so the snorkels are gonna go back on it. I've also gonna do a rad relocate. I've got a bigger rad out of a first gen Kawasaki Teryx that I'm gonna mount on the rack. So we'll do that because these things always had issues with cooling when you were revving them real hard, especially when you got them dirty. A lot of these Kawi V-twins always had issues cooling, especially when they upgraded to the 750 from the 650. So they basically bored this engine over and made it bigger down the line, and that led to more cooling issues. The first gen Terexes had a lot of cooling issues because they ran that engine as well. It's a cool engine. It's a really wicked sounding machine. It's got the solid rear axle back here. Later on, they went to the independent rear suspension. This solid rear axle is a lot of fun. It gives you way more tow capacity, more utility, but it also makes it drift like a race machine. It makes it handle more like a race quad. It gets rid of a lot of that rear end body roll you feel on an IRS suspension. I've got upgraded spindle assemblies here off a newer brute force. So it's got the upgraded ball joints because those spindle assemblies in the O2s were a weak link. I might have to upgrade some of the steering setup here. I've got a set of 30-inch tires for it, just some swamp lights for now, but I might switch that out. I got a set of 26s and a set of 30s for it. So we got some options there. As far as that's concerned, what else I'm gonna do? I might do some custom floorboards, stuff like that. But basically, I just wanna get this thing together. I wanna get it running. I'm gonna take it down to Champion Cycle, probably in Toronto. I'm gonna get my buddies there to dyno tune it for me, get those carbs dialed in real good. Once it's on there, we'll jet it perfectly. And this thing's just gonna be made for fun and hooning around. So with that being said, I basically just wanna make myself a fun machine that I can use for utility around the yard, pulling the trailer full of dirt, you know, clearing some snow, moving a car around if the battery's dead, or moving the car trailer around the driveway, stuff like that. And also, it's going to be a wheelie monster with a Dynatech CDI aftermarket ECU. Gets rid of all the safety stuff like the timing advance or the timing retard off the line and stuff like that. And this clutching, it should stand up on two wheels and just be a lot of fun to really mess around with and have fun with. And it should do pretty good on the trail. So, I mean, I'm not making it for super heavy duty trail use, but hey, depending on how much fun I have, I'll probably end up taking it out on the trail quite a bit. We'll get some video of it. Need to get a new winch on there. We'll get the bumpers that I had. I might just soup them up a little bit, clean them up, paint them, get some LED light bars on there, you know, just kind of bring it up to the times, get it looking fresh. So anyways, enough rambling. That gives you an idea what I'm after here. And let's get into it. First step, let's do that front diff. Like I said, we're gonna keep it quick, not step by step. I'm just gonna kind of guide you through the main points here, and we'll make it a fun video that kind of flows pretty quick so you guys can follow along. I'm really lucky here. I live outside the city. I have a massive shop here with tons of tools and tons of projects on the go. I got my Datsun build here, got an LS under the cover there. I got a 6-liter that's going into the Datsun here. That's eventually gonna get supercharged or turbocharged as well. We're building a drift car out of this baby. We got the 2017 Razor Turbo, the Battle Wagon. That's what most of you guys have seen me ripping around in. That's what most of the videos focus about. I got the 2001 Volkswagen Golf chassis here. This is strictly a time attack road racing car. It's fully gutted. It's not a street car. It's set up for road racing with quite a bunch of hop-ups and goodies on there. Look at that inner fooler, guys. Oh, damn. I'll show you under the hood quickly. Oh yeah, she's a beast. She's a beast. More on that some other time. But yeah, lots of projects on the go. I got a few more projects sitting out on the driveway that don't fit in the garage. So there's always something going on here at the AJP compound. Anyways, guys, if you have any questions, leave me a comment, ask the questions below. Follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and check out some of the other content. And if you watch all the other videos, hopefully you enjoy this one. If you're new, then stay along and check out some other stuff.